Yo guys, this is another module number 7 already, get oversubscribed. It's a short module, but I really wanted to include it because it's a paramount part of raising capital successfully, and it's called get oversubscribed. So let me first explain what oversubscribe means. For me, I use it every day, a few times a week. But I would just first want to bring this point home to you. So let's say you are raising $100,000, right? And normally, let's say in a $100,000 round, there will be one investor of 25,000, five of 10,000, and another one of 25,000. So in other words, you have two of 25 and five of 10,000. So in other words, you have 7 investors. Right? Now, what you have learned in this process already is that if you don't follow the process correctly, you don't have enough investors at the end to choose the offers and the deal terms that you want. That will result in shit terms. That will result in that you need to give away too much of your equity. So the key here really is to make sure that you position yourself again as the price. Now, and in order to position yourself as the price, you need to have more options, or you need to have more options than you actually need. So compare it a little bit like a buffet. There's a lot of food, and your belly can only process, 2 plates. That's it. You're full. At least because there's so much food, you have choice. So what do you want? Do you want to have choice and a selection who you want to work with as an investor? Or do you want to bag investors to become an investor in your business? Now, of course, you want to choose. Therefore, we try to get oversubscribed. And oversubscribed means that if you need 7 investors to close a round of 100K, what would happen if you have 12 investors that are fighting for a spot to get into your business? Let me also share that oversubscribed is a brilliant situation to be in. It could be that if your business is not the sexy hit in town, if your business is good enough that investors maybe would like to try it to see because they believe in you as a founder, but there's still a potential chance that they say like, okay, I don't like it. But specifically with businesses that are having certain patents, businesses that are first or second movers in new markets, businesses that have a unique position compared to their competitors, business owners who have a great client base, have great reviews, something to show for, right? Those kind of businesses that are ready to spit cash flow now or in the future have a great opportunity to get oversubscribed. Now, you can engineer that, and that's what we're going to talk about here specifically in this module. So get oversubscribed, what is it, and what are the key strategies that you can deploy to actually get there? So let's first start with the step-by-step process. I have touched on certain points already before, and I'm not going to apologize for it because it's the repetition that makes you stick to certain concepts. What most of the founders or business owners or acquisition entrepreneurs do is, let's say they're raising a $5 million, right? Brilliant. That's already set in stone. What we need to understand is a lot of times when we raise money, it has a purpose. And that purpose is a lot of time to expand the business. But you never do this in one shot. You're going to allocate that money into different kind of pockets. And each pocket is going to deliver a certain ROI or a certain ROC, return on capital, for you to bring the value of your shares up to the next level. So each pocket has a purpose, and that purpose you're going to throw money on. And the moment you throw money on that purpose, if you have engineered it well, money comes back to you, right? So theoretically, we could say if you raise 5 million, that from that 5 million you have 5 milestones that you want to reach, let's say in the coming 18 months, and each milestone represents a bump into your company value. Very simple. The more free cash flow you have, the higher valuation you get. The more recurring revenue you have, the more valuable your business. The more clients you onboard, the more valuable your business. The less churn you have, the more value your business. So these are all metrics where you can design around how you're going to deploy your capital. I'm always someone who is going a little bit beyond the example, so apologies for that. But the key here is that if you know that you're going to raise $5 million, if you know you're going to raise $100,000, it doesn't really matter. You maybe want to split that round into 3 mini rounds, or 2, or 4, whatever you want. I choose always 3. So let's say again, maybe not 5, let's go with $3 million, right? If you go to an investor and an investor signs you a check for $100,000, right? $100,000 compared to $3 million, this investor literally feels that he's the first one in your company that is going to dip their toes in the water. And the reality of the game is the more investors you have, the more will follow, right? So your focus should be really on getting investors on board ASAP. Now the way to do that is by structuring it in mini rounds, because now you could say the first mini round of $1 million is going to fill up 2 pockets, right? And it will give a valuation bump. And let's say for the first part you need maybe 5 or 6 investors, then you can very targeted look for those 6 investors, and because they are first, you can reward them with specific terms that are interesting for early bird movers, or additionally you can offer them a perk for joining early, and in another program or another group goal we can go more in depth on what that could be for you specifically. But in this case, you want to offer something to the investor to say, yes, I want it right now. Why should I now invest? You give them a reason. Because otherwise, the $100,000 that is being allocated, the investor, you know what, I will wait until there's $500,000 or $800,000, and then I feel comfortable with it. So splitting the round, giving each round their separate terms and certain benefits can literally propel your business forward. Now, then, when you have the first round filled, you can then start with the second round, which has again 2 different pockets where you want to allocate your money. To these investors, you can say like, hey, our first round got closed in less than a month. The method of thinking here is really like, okay, these guys are apparently doing something right. I should pay attention to this. Pay attention to this. Great. So I hope this point has been brought home. The second point is you want to build, again, that highly specific targeted investor list. That's where everything starts. You need to have a list of investors that are the same fragrance, the same color. They need to be almost like a cohort of similar industry, sector, type, locations, so they have all something in common. So later on, these characteristics you can leverage to push them over the finish line. Then again, you want to share your short emails, make it simple for them to respond, using concise, compelling investor lingo. Again, we're moving forward with our one-page teaser, already discussed. You want to make very clear here what's the ROI that they can make if they join on this first round. And then you want to manage and control the flow of information, like we also discussed. Drip your content gradually with videos about you, about your business, about your team, about your clients, proof, reviews, again from clients, vendors, relationships, traction, month-to-month growth, new client onboardings, all of these kind of measurements, and even so, some commitments. Now, if you then combine that with deadlines for your first round, and you communicate them frequently, and you have started all of your conversations at the same time, then what will happen is you create a buzz, right? And it's this specific buzz that is going to create that you're getting oversubscribed. Now, by sharing the allocations with your waiting list, so for example, $1 million, and let's say you already closed $600,000 of that, then you want to share, to these investors, almost like an overview, $1 million, slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, slot 4, including the terms, so they know that they are not the last one who jumps in. Running the 20-minute meetings, following up with the deal docs. Let me highlight that again. If you follow up with the deal docs and you feel that they're interested, then instantly you remove all of the friction off the table because you have already shared it. You shared, in this case, the deal doc, and you can still leave some the very detailed terms away, but at least the framework is being set. And then, once you have closed your first round, you can increase the valuation in subsequent second and third tranches. Some additional tips. Build scarcity and curiosity. So avoid sharing specific investor names to maintain leverage, because the circle of investors, specifically in the same cohort, they know each other, right? If you're raising capital in New York City and it's bigger ticket sizes, these guys know each other. So you want to avoid that. You want to share that you have an investor, but you don't want to name the investor. By the way, it's not included in this Get Funded Formula workshop here right now. But also, if an investor is asking you, okay, how much did you already close? It's none of their business. You don't need to tell them. You can just say, look, okay, we're doing very well. We have quite some commitments in the round. Don't tell them. Also, if they ask, how much money do you have in the bank? It's none of their business. You're not going to a friend, how much money do you have in the bank? Because they will use that against you. Leverage introduction partners. So we have discussed that. Ask partners to give heads up at similar times, instructed by you, where they can poke investors. Again, share content regularly, concise updates such as quick notes on new partnerships, interview with industry experts, product milestones. All of these things are engineered to keep you and give you more trust. Use the teaser, the emails and posts. Here's a sneak peek at our latest success. That's a great example. And again, sometimes you don't want to ask for the reply. You just want to share, okay, hey, we're discussing a potential investment in the future to make sure that you're making an informed decision and to evaluate if we're great partners together. Here's a sneak peek of our latest success. And you build brick by brick by brick that success. And you will find as well out that it takes at least 7 contact moments for someone to be in your brain. This is a little trick that I always use. Drive potential investors to your website, plug a Facebook pixel there, and in their free time, whatever they're on social media, they see your business coming and passing by. Right? And they think like, hey, I have been talking with them. Interesting. Now, of course, they know that it's potentially a retargeting. It's, by the way, super cheap, but you keep yourself on mind, right? And then to close this chapter, maintain professional. Let's say an investor jumps out, always thank them for their time, and then you will be fine. The next chapter is all about selecting the best deals. Very interesting, very informative, very action driven. So have a look there, and I will see you in the next module.